Hey, hi. Do you like Thomas the Tank Engine? The Turing Talking Engine made its way into our lives in the show Thomas and Friends. Now, I always liked the show. As one of the friends of one of the original animators, I have some very terrifying news about something truly horrific that happened during the production of one of the shows. I first noticed something that was wrong when I acquired the VHS tape online. Excuse me. Receiving a real code on my email from an address. I don't know how to read the email, but okay. Very strange address. But this is a very strange show. I mean, I always liked it, but it was just a show about talking trains. They ride around, talk like trains. That's all the show was about, talking trains. Who the fuck cares about talking trains? Well, I do, because something really strange occurred while watching. And I've been getting threats from various train aficionados about releasing details, so I do this anonymously to warn you that this tape is out there, and you don't want to watch it. I must warn you, the following is disturbing. I received the VHS in the mail roughly the next day. Strange that the VHS tape would be used as DVD technology, even Blu-ray were now all the rage. But soon I understood. The first thing I noticed was that I had to rewind the tape, meaning someone or something had watched it before me. When I got to the beginning, I noticed something very strange. The sky was red, with the blue tones usually used. This is Thomas Night on the island of lost souls. Thomas is shown riding along. He looks more agitated, and there's something in his eye. He looks angry. Follow me to the Bohemian Grove. Thomas shoots his whistle and goes under an arch with a bit of red under it, like a dripping red half moon. It was disturbing. Look, it's Thomas. Hello, Thomas. You see Thomas riding for a train and smiling away. Then the narrator says something really odd. It is on this night, the Feast of Souls, that other trains on the Island of Lost Souls meet to discuss how they can add more souls to their train collection. Souls. What? Huh? You then see Thomas riding along, smiling, but something isn't in the road. He derails, crashes, and rolls over down a steep hill and bursts into flame. Thomas is dead. You hear an instant pop and some laughing, and a demonic voice saying, "This is no dream." Then it cuts to back to Thomas riding along smiling. But he looks different. Thomas starts saying some numbers. He has no eyes. There's white holes and no pupils. It's disturbing. I felt a shiver creep up my spine. Then he starts saying some numbers. 94954 25 5 1 18 19 1 7 15. What did that mean? What was going on? What are you doing, Thomas? The narrator continued. You see Tom's train stop at a station to pick people up. It was weird. The show took place on an island, but islands don't need trains usually. Then I understood. You see Thomas stop and open his door. His huge face and creepy eyes smiling at the people. All aboard! 40905 11 12 15 14 05, Thomas yelled. This was not a very fun show. In the 1930s and 40s, the Nazis would use cryptographic machines to encode messaging from their elite forces. You see the little people get on the train, smiling away. They're supposed to be going to a festival, a celebration of some sort. You hear the train door slam, and it was then I noticed there were bars on the windows. Thomas starts speeding up. 9, 1, 13, 1, 25, 18, 18, 15, 18, 9, 19, 20. We're not going to the festival. He is trying to escape his own shadow now. Riding faster and faster, you hear audible cries from people inside the train as he begins to speed up. The narrator continues. Thomas was once one of those very people going to the festival, but they took him and cut his face off. You see Thomas smiling. The face sort of disconnected from the body, blood dripping down. He used to be like you, just like you, but one day he chose not to listen. Thomas is going faster now. The last car. The train speeding up, the sound of audible screams, and the people banging from the window as sparks fly all over the place. 1, 14, 4, 1, 2, 18, 5, 1, 4, 15, 16, 8, 12, 9, 12, 5. Why did he keep talking in numbers? I didn't want to watch this anymore. I didn't like this show. Oh boy, where was I? Yeah. He's sped up even faster now. Come on, let us out. You see the little claymation, or was it animation? Or were those real people banging on the doors? They try to break the windows and you see blood pouring down their little clay/CG hands as they start to cry him out. The destination is inside you, Thomas yells. One of them breaks the door open and Thomas slams his own train door hinge, trying to arm off the person. He writes to something called the Arch of Agony. And you hear someone narrating some weird ancient ritual involving a king. I'm sure what Thomas said next would make some sense of this. 6, 21, 3, 11, 25, 15, 21, 18, 4, 15, 7, 19. What the flip is going on? Heave ho, Thomas! The British narrator yelled. Close the door, please. The British narrator. The outside valiantly and angry, maybe even disheveled, but Thomas wasn't just scaring people. He also had a fuel line holding petrol. Thomas smiles. I love you, and I always will. A spark ignites under the carriage, triggering a fuel commodity held in one of the back cars. Flames begin to rise as the people begin to bang on the doors. It seems screaming, melting and turning to skeletons. The smell of burnt hair began to emit from the tape, or was that my imagination? Come to think of it, the tape was burned to begin with. It's the night of the blood moon, the narrator continues. The night when all the ghouls come out to worship and drink the blood of the innocent. You see Thomas crying blood as his face explodes off instantly. No one ever leaves enters the island, and no one ever leaves. Imagine being turned into a train, your internal organs glued into the inner mechanisms of rotating pistons and gluttonous bloodlines. Indeed, you see there is not cold but blood pouring from inside Thomas, and a beating heart wired into the back wall. Struggling to beat. I know the train, Thomas cries. It's a human. You see his train face laying on the floor, a shelf itself, a skull lies underneath. The skull train crashes through a wall and explodes into a billion pieces. Pieces of burnt flesh, dead birds, and torn metal rain from the sky. I vomited. Puked all over the couch. This was the most disgusting thing I ever watched. I'm okay, Thomas said. We're all okay now. You see, Thomas, his internal organs are glued to a cave wall. A train skeleton with train bone, smiling. You see the bodies of the passengers contorted, bleeding, some dead in shock. You see men in robes come out with syringes, little claymation animation real men in robes, some stumbling, some laughing. Their faces obscured, but you just know they're smiling. More numbers. Thomas's dim, disembodied voice. I don't know how to rate this, but I'm going to this part. No! A clear metal case marked adrenochrome and the syringes being shot into the necks of the charred remains. The narrator continued. And that's how Thomas lost all of his train blood. It is the duty of the influence to consume the blood of the innocent. The narrator was still talking even though there was nothing on screen. Adrenochrome is on schedule that controlled substances at the United States, but it still is a supplement. Sales must conform to U.S. supplement laws. If sold for consumption as a food or drug, sales are regulated by the FDA. What the flip does this have to do with my favorite TV show about a TV train? You just hear Thomas crying now. He's crying. And crying. And you see weird effigy in the forest. The large metal owl and you see some strange naked man dancing around a fire pit. I swear one of them looked like celebrities, doctors, musicians, former presidents, star football players. Oh God, what was this?